The ultimate match of the famous performance SUVs we have here for you today in our exclusive comparison. The Mercedes GLC 43 AMG against the all-new BMW X3 M50. Who's gonna prevail? We'll find out here together with Thomas and Autogefühl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go, starting with the all-new BMW X3 with a large double kidney here, now also here with an illumination feature. I think that's pretty cool here, especially when it's a little bit darker or at night and so on. Fire red here is this vehicle color for today, and in the M50, the M Performance trim, you also have a lot of black elements as a contrast. Yeah, so very strong look, upright look, monolithic. In contrast to that, the GLC here has more round features. It almost looks tiny in comparison to the X3 M50. However, here in the AMG trim, you also have the vertical fins, large grille, wide in the lower part, this Panamericana style, and also black contrast. Also different graphics than here for the AMG version in the lower part. Yeah, what do you think, like from the first glance, which one would you go for? Recently, we've also reviewed the normal base versions, so to speak, so the non-sporty versions. You can maybe take a look at that later on. And I can already tell you so far, as a very interesting outcome here today, and also totally something unexpected from me when I reviewed the normal versions, and now when I was reviewing the performance versions. So these will be very interesting findings here for sure. Let's move to the side. So both are more or less 4.75 meters or 187 inches in length. So yeah, that's pretty much the same. We also have both with 20-inch wheels here today. You could spec up to 21-inch. Here a more aerodynamic styling for the AMG then in this case, and all the way blacked out, all the details and so on. Yeah, so this looks a little bit sportier and more sinister. However, suspension technology does differ a lot. So interesting here with the GLC is that in Europe, for the normal GLC, you can get an air suspension and a rear axis steering that goes 4.5 degrees in the opposite direction. Not available in the Northern American market. However, then here with the GLC 43, it is different. You get an adaptive suspension, but not with air. However, then available all across the world, and also rear axis steering, just 2.5 degrees in the opposite direction, but still, it's available everywhere, it's standard, and it also helps you when maneuvering like very tight corners, a U-turn in the basement garage, and that's of course an advantage in comparison to what we have with the BMW X3 M50. To the rear, more round shapes for the GLC 43, and does the Autogefühl fake exhaust police does any job here today? Well, here for the Mercedes, yeah, these tips look beautiful, but the real exhaust is on the inside, so this is not the real exhaust. Whereas with the BMW X3 M50, these are real exhaust pipes. So from the outside look quite similar, but they don't have something on the inside which looks different than what we see on the outside. Both have black contrast on the lower part. However, the design difference here in the rear is huge. So once again, more wider structures with the BMW and more angular design, whereas a more roundish design than for the GLC 43. Very interesting. As for the suspension here with the BMW X3, you get an adaptive M suspension. That's then also here standard with the vehicle, and it also then varies according to the driving mode. And we also have the 20-inch wheels mounted. 21-inch would again be possible, but I think also comfort-wise it's not clever to exceed it way more. As for engines, a huge difference here today. So there, with the Mercedes GLC 43, a 2-liter 4-cylinder, 420 horsepower. And you remember we had the 6-cylinder in the previous generation. Both have all-wheel drive with a rear-wheel bias. And then here with the BMW X3 M50, the famous B58, 3-liter 6-cylinder, just around almost 400 horsepower. So horsepower-wise, a little bit less. However, yeah, still more cylinders, more displacement, and you know there's no replacement for displacement, or as we say in German, Hubraum ist durch nichts zu ersetzen. Listen and repeat, Hubraum ist durch nichts zu ersetzen, which means there's no replacement for displacement. Yeah, and the acceleration figure is 4.6 seconds for this one here, and 4.8 seconds for the GLC 43. So there's 0.2 seconds difference. However, in the miles per hour figure to 60 miles per hour, the difference is even 0.3 seconds. Yeah, that's very interesting. And you also have to remember, this one here has another sibling that is quicker. Not only the GLC 63, which is also a 2-liter 4-cylinder, there is the GLC 450D, a 3-liter 6-cylinder diesel, the only 6-cylinder engine in the lineup, and it's 0.1 seconds quicker than this one here. So I have to say, in comparison to the 63 GLC, which adds over 300 kilograms more in weight because of a plug-in hybrid performance system, this one is the better choice. However, if you want a 6-cylinder, you gotta take then the GLC 450D in that case. With the BMW, this one here is the gem of the lineup. Now it's also electrified, so it's a mild hybrid system now in this B58. But we already know this engine and it does really, really well. So engine-wise, I think this one has a big advantage, always just from like being stationary here. And people who are buying in this segment want a 6-cylinder. And it was good in the GLC 43. But with all the emission rules and so on, manufacturers are of course pushed in that direction. So it's not only fault of the manufacturers, but you see, BMW, for example, still does it. Then the interior of the X3, integrated door handles, but they still come out. Then instead of the doors, you have the top part somewhat structured. Also, you can push it in a little bit, but still relatively hard. Then here you have the leather red cover, but it should also be a little bit softer, high gloss black. And no cover at the inside of the door, so the build quality of the door should be better. Also this part here, you can move it as a whole, and it's a new part here for the adjustment of the vent with the capacitor, hashtag capacitive VS control, open and close. This should be better. I like the ambient lighting integration, but I mean, it's also good that they went for a matte finish than high gloss black, because you would have even more fingerprints than like here. But the build quality should be better, definitely here. Then
no
the
entry badge.
Entry badge is also missing here. Yeah, steering wheel, the M Sport, this is from animal material. The base steering wheel would be animal free and feels actually better than this one. But here you have nice contrast stitches, for example. Seats, high-grade leatherette, the so-called Veganza material. This is really good, industry leading, very nice, plush in comfort, looks nice, also is good in durability and so on. And the headroom here in the seating position with 189, 602, yeah, still some space left. And steering wheel here with the manual control up and down, in and out. Yeah, and this cockpit overview, it's really interesting, completely new, of course, in this generation. This is nice here with a soft touch here on the dashboard, some stitching, very small glove box, I have to say, with the famous German Parkscheibe or Parkuhr. Gotta put that on, otherwise you directly end up in jail while parking. And then you have this 2-screen layout here. No physical climate dials anymore. Really sad to lose them in this generation, because here also to control it, it's really small. Also when you activate seat heating or steering wheel heating, sometimes it's a little bit, yeah, I have to turn on the ignition for that. Sometimes it's, why is it not working now? So the climate unit is working, but then the seat heating not. There it appears now. Yeah, stuff like this is kind of strange. It's too slow, the infotainment system. And also when you activate it like with passenger and driver at the same time, sometimes it doesn't work simultaneously because it's like blocking each other. Kind of weirdo. So definitely the physical dials would be the best here. Ambient lighting integration is pretty nice. I love that. Here, look at that. When you hit the hazard lights, you have this animation also at the inside of the doors. I found it pretty cool. Rear seats of the X3, light and shadow, for example, nice structure on the top part, however hard plastic, once again, no cover on the lower part. As for the space that is offered, well, it's a thing with both of the vehicles, so they don't offer too much legroom when a tall driver is sitting in the front. And headroom, well, this one is the one with the panoramic roof, fixed one. You can apply like a hardcover shade, however. Rear seats of the GLC, covered on the top part, hard plastic on the lower part. Yeah, basically the same. A lot of high gloss black here as well. And then we also have the back part of the performance seats here. So that would be a little bit different than also with the normal sport seats. And how plush it is in general. Here in the rear of the GLC, it's more plush and more comfortable than with these front performance seats. Definitely here also with the microfiber equipment. And well, you sit not as comfortable as in the X3, so seating comfort in the rear is better with the X3. Let's check out the front interior of the GLC. So Here we have everything covered, so it's nicely done. Then a lot of high gloss black, but a nice ambient lighting integration as well. This is nicer done. And then here the inside, yeah, also hard pack, just like a rubber pad at the bottom, and perforated steering wheel. In the new GLC model year 2025, with the base versions, you can also get, for example, animal-free steering wheels. And this one here in the AMG also with microfiber and carbon fiber. Also available, for example. Seats, they are standard here in microfiber and inside and leatherette outside, in both versions. So these are the option performance seats. They look amazing. However, yeah, they are not as comfortable as the standard sport seats. So we have to take this one into account, because the standard sport seats would be a little bit less bucket seat alike, and they are also more comfortable. These here are extremely hard. They have hardly any Einsitzhöhe, so like the seating depth. So I can really recommend you to stick with the base sport seats. They will give you way more comfort. So it's also not that fair in the comparison. I cannot compare these seats, because then the GLC would like directly lose as for the seating comfort. We have to compare the normal seats, and then the difference is not as large to the X3. However, the X3 will always have better seating comfort. So even the normal, like the normal comparison to the normal sport seats, there the X3 is a little bit better. Here, actually, we shouldn't take them into account at all, because I don't even know why they offer them. Cockpit overview, something completely different here with the vertical layout of the screen. Here, however, a lot of high gloss black. However, cooler with the drive mode selector, because here at the steering wheel, I directly just switch it here, comfort mode, sport mode, and that's it. I don't have to spend years in the infotainment system. So switching the driving modes easier here, and also the climate unit. Yes, it's also not physical, sadly. However, where it's placed, easier to reach, and it's also a little bit bigger. So controlling the temperature and the driving modes is easier in the GLC. Also here the quality of the shifting pedals behind the steering wheel is way better.
And seat heating is here.
Yeah, and seat heating you can activate this. So to activate the seat heating also easier. Trunk or boot comparison. Let's open them both. So here we go. We have 620 liters with the Mercedes, 570 liters with the BMW. So liter figure wise, this one has an advantage, but is it also in the practicability? Here the cover. It seems everything like all right and everything, but I had the feeling that sometimes while driving it's doing a rattling noise, but I'm not sure where is it coming from. And when I open it, one stays like this, it doesn't appear anymore. Strange. Here is like 1 meter 10 or 43 inches in width. That's good. And here in the length is about 1 meter or 40 inches, and the width here in the top stage 74 centimeters or 29 inches. And then underneath there is more space. Here there's like just an additional cover, and here, for example, way more space underneath. I think that's where the liter figure is coming from. Oh, and this hidden basket here, for example. And another advantage for the GLC, you have the remote unlock of the seats here. So here with the X3, top cover is also pretty massive indeed. Opening this one, and then in the width is kind of the same, also like 1 meter 10, 43 inches. Also the approximately the same length of about 1 meter 40 inches, maybe a little bit longer with the GLC then. And here the height, this is also, yeah, exactly the same, 74 centimeters, 29 inches. Just here underneath, maybe a little bit less space. Could maybe also fit a replacement tire for that. But overall comparable. The only annoying thing is here I have to reach over to fold the seats like this or go around them. So this is way better than with the remote unlock with the GLC. Sport mode. Woo. That was a quick sprint from 50 kilometers an hour to 150 in the sport mode, starting with the BMW X3 M50. Really nice, especially from that engine. Here in the sport mode, this sound is also more pronounced than in the normal mode, so especially when you hit the RPM here. However, you can also deactivate these iconic sounds, so to speak, and let's just hear like what the differences it makes, and then also later on how it behaves with the Mercedes. So here, when I deactivate and accelerate, it's a difference, right? And one more time here with activated. Yeah, so especially in the sport mode, it makes a significant difference. However, here in the BMW, you have the feeling that it is a more or less natural sound. So I think the sound actuation here is well done. So why not? But yeah, you don't have to use it. You can use it, yeah, just as you prefer. Also nice how everything is changed to red here with the ambient lighting. It's always a nice effect. However, switching between the modes, to me, always a little bit complicated. That you're either, you have to press here my modes, and then you have either to confirm in the screen, or, yeah, at least we have that here using this lower MI turning, pressing knob, and then select one more time to sport mode. Still doing that while driving is distracting. So there definitely with the Mercedes, where we have the turning jog here at the steering wheel, that's easier. So here in the BMW, a little bit more complicated. As for the suspension here, we have the adaptive M suspension here, notably, standard also for this model, notably stiffer here in the sport mode. And as long as the road is very even here, a nicely built Autobahn in Germany, for example, it's fine and good while driving in a sporty way. At the end of this driving part, we'll also go up some, winding roads. This will be super fun, I can promise. However, I feel the suspension is too stiff here. Connected with the 20-inch wheels here also, there's hardly any dampening left. Here in the normal mode, it's better. Here now we're approaching some Autobahn change with an S combination sport mode. This engine is just a gem. So I'm going to talk about in depth of this engine here very soon after this next acceleration, because this is the special
the seats
thing.
Are very good.
Seats are awesome, yeah. They're here.
Hold
Look
you
at that
tight
now.
And comfortable.
Indeed, the idea is right. They hold it tight. At the same time, they're also comfortable. Here now, super fun S combination. Then right, wow, this is a lot of fun. Really great. And yeah, as Leah said, the seats are holding us tight. Great comfort with these Veganza high-grade leatherette seats. They're also soft. They have a great Einsitzhöhe, so the seating depth in the top area. This is really awesome.
Today.
Oh yeah. Leah with her high-grade leatherette leggings, of course. They are just awesome to look at always. Really beautiful. Most beautiful thing in this car here, for sure. Oh, look at that. In front of us, Macan S. That would also be the Porsche competitor. Let's see what the Porsche competitor can do. That's a fierce bump.
Yeah.
Transverse. Now 200 kilometers an hour, 125 miles an hour. Now it's getting also quite loud here. Oh, now it gets it's really, really rough and shaky. Yeah, I'm stopping the acceleration right here just to look at traffic. Yeah, and of course, I mean, most cars get loud at this speed, and this.
The mirrors are so loud.
Yeah, the mirrors. Well, let's go. Nice. Slight wheel spin in the rear wheels because the road is slightly wet. Nice steering control. Yeah, suspension is rough, definitely. You do feel that. Here, of course, in this case, it's good. Plop, plop, plop from the exhaust. It's a lot of fun. Beautiful. Seats are keeping me tight. At the same time, they're super comfortable, so that's also good. And also, if you are in these transitions there, the engine just is always at the right RPM where you need it. It feels so refined and cultivated. Nice. Also here, left-right corner. Oh, pigeons. Yeah, okay, pigeons are gone. Let's continue. Now we can accelerate even more out. Although we are uphill, it's giving us so much performance. Beautiful. Yeah, that feels super, super great from that engine. And also aerodynamic in the driving fun. You really feel one with the vehicle. Pushing you out now the really, really tight corner. Woo! Sliding a little bit over the wet leaves. This is so much fun. And obviously Leah is enjoying too. That's also a good sign. Wow. Beautiful. That's amazing. That's amazing. Wow. Sport Plus. That was also 52, 150. Definitely this artificial sound is a difference. It's an option in the configurator, and you can also, while driving, deactivate or activate it. And here in the GLC, I feel it's too artificial. You also have some kind of rattling sound here in the speaker. Actually, it's like,
you hear it like
just listen to that, like with. It means like, and then now I deactivate it.
sounds better.
That sounds better. You even have the crackles and plops from the exhaust. So definitely I would leave it off. It's just like, I don't know, it doesn't work here, this sound actuation in the GLC 43. Too artificial, and also some crackling, rattling sound from that speaker that doesn't work at all. Better to leave that one off. And you can also here leave it off on the steering wheel, control it easily, or just don't go for this option at all. As for the acceleration, I mean, performance-wise, we can maybe also compare the time code, how 50 to 150 made a difference. That will be very interesting. I cannot comment on that at this moment. We have to once again check the time code. But of course, you also feel the performance. So just performance-wise, the 2-liter 4-cylinder is not a problem. What you feel, of course, that in the 3-liter 6-cylinder with the BMW X3 M50, you have a little bit more refined feeling, you know, especially, for example, also when you're just in the comfort mode, then you're slightly on the throttle. Here, that's like, in the same way I approach the throttle here, this one here is shifting back, you know, like just here, it's always shifting back to get the power. And in the X3, it's not always shifting back if I were just slightly on the throttle. It's like and it pushes forward. I think that difference is in some bumps, both are uncomfortable, but when you have like some waves and how it affects the driving itself, that's where the GLC is mastering that one a little bit better, I feel. That's very interesting nuance. Also, as for the steering input here, the GLC is a little bit more precise, which is astonishing because that is a field that BMW should occupy. And maybe that guy's liking the vehicle, I don't know. So let's put it here once again to the sport mode in this S combination and see how that feels in comparison to the X3. And also how Leah is feeling. Really leaning the car here into the corner. Beautiful, nice steering input. Acceleration out there. The engine could be a little bit more like instantaneous. Yeah, but from the steering feeling, that is beautiful. So it's really what you feel in the corner. Always that with the BMW, you have fun with the engine all the time. So like, that's beautiful, and acceleration out.
It sounds good, yeah.
Sounds good, and also like, it's calm and sporty at the same time. And here, you have fun with the suspension and the driving agility all the time, you know? So these are the two different focuses. Let's see one more acceleration when this Audi Q7 has passed. Let's go. That was to 130, and now when we're already at speed, wow, that was also rough. It's rattling from the speaker behind me as well. Wow. So I think I gotta deactivate that stuff and leave it deactivated. And here we go. Nice steering here, super smooth. All-wheel drive with rear bias, you feel that? Really beautiful. Let's turn off that sound emulation. It just goes on my nerves. I can show you the difference when I'm accelerating it. There we go, next corner. It's beautiful handling. So really, really great in handling. And also if you do some like left, right, and so on. Super precise, and yeah, who would have thought that? Oh, look at that. W123. Beautiful vehicle. There we go. Who would have thought that I especially applaud Mercedes for the steering, you know? They used to be a little bit like laggy in the steering in like 5 years ago or something. But now really, really great precise steering work. And this is so much fun driving these corners here. Wow, that's amazing. So definitely one of the most fun SUVs, I have to say. Accelerating out here, and you know, hear the difference? It's like or not. So I leave this extra emulation off, definitely. Can also use the shifting pedals myself to be in the lower gear, for example. Also here then shift down myself before this really tight corner. Beautiful, so much fun. The shifting pedals you can really hammer in. Next right, Wow, this handles like a sports car. Amazing. So this is like the discipline for that vehicle here. It's so sporty, and yeah, I'm not missing anything from the 63. I'm really enjoying that we have less weight here, definitely. Leah?
Yep.
Fun factor?
Yes.
Leah's sum goes up.
Arms.
Yeah, and when Leah is not getting sick or something at all, can you show your face that it's still... Yay! That's beautiful. Your face, of course, and and the driving of that vehicle here. Wow. Consumption, that's very interesting. So with the BMW X3 M50 with the 3-liter 6-cylinder B58, a lot of numbers, right? You can score some 9 liters on 100 kilometers, 26 mpg US, 31 mpg UK. That's great for an engine of that performance. With the 2-liter 4-cylinder here in the GLC 43, you rather land up with about 11 liters on 100 kilometers, so 21 mpg US, 25 mpg UK. And that's clearly worse and is also different to the normal 2-liter 4-cylinder, whereas here with the BMW, the consumption for the normal 2-liter 4-cylinder in the lower spec segment, 20 or something, or in a 30, this one has almost the same consumption. That proves again that if you go for more cylinders or higher displacement, does not necessarily mean that you have higher consumption. So efficient, powerful, engine-wise here, this is clearly the winner here from the X3, but there are of course so many more aspects. And it's even more interesting because recently, because you asked me to do that, first the normal versions and then also the performance versions, we've been testing the normal X3 versus the normal GLC, like in the 2-liter 4-cylinder spec and so on. So first of all, as for the pricing, on the Northern American market, you can get this one here as it stands with some equipment already for about 70,000 US dollars, whereas this one here is about 80,000 US dollars. So there's a larger price gap on the Northern American market. Specced also, as they stand here right here for the German market, European market, they are more than 90,000 euros. And the GLC is always a couple of thousand euros more expensive, but at some point it also has some more technology equipment in it. But yeah, probably a larger difference that this one here is a little bit more affordable on the North American market because it's also built in Spartanburg than in the US. But like bottom line, both are very expensive in these specs, but the Mercedes will always be a little bit more expensive. And usually the BMW also gives you more discount and also better leasing rates and so on. So like at the concise dealer prices, you can calculate with that the BMW X3 will be a little bit cheaper, so to speak. As for the differences, I mean, the design is really different, more angular than here with BMW, roundish with the GLC. And from the feedback that's all around there in the comments, of course, it's a matter of preference, but most actually say that they find this one ugly and most prefer design-wise the GLC. For me personally, I think it's total. Leah is nodding. So Leah is also more like a GLC design fan. I think it's totally personal. I think both have something, and I don't find the X3 ugly, honestly. But yeah, I think that's just personal choice here on the exterior. On the interior, I think both are well designed, but I think also both lack some luxury features on the interior. So the build quality on the interior should be better at this price point. But that counts for both. I think was just with the X3, it becomes more obvious because especially in comparison to the previous generation, they had some coast-cutting stuff then going on in this generation. And yeah, I talked with BMW about that, like just simple things like, like they have felt in the inside of the doors and entry sill badges. And I think they have to do better there. And I'm also thinking that they will improve it, at some stage then also here with this new generation. But yeah, I can really well understand if people are somewhat disappointed with the interior. Also with the GLC, if you push some things or like the trunk cover that was from rattling stuff. This is a problem for the German manufacturers. They are still building great vehicles and they drive phenomenally, especially in the sporty handling way. But for that price, we also expect that the interior is flawless. And that's not the case with both of the vehicles. Even if you go for the normal sport seats here with the GLC 43, the seat comfort will always be better in the BMW X3, and that's a big point definitely, that the comfort of the seats and the quality of the seats is always better here with the BMW, and they have also more solutions for all markets with going animal-free on the interior, whereas Mercedes is lagging behind there a little bit. Driving-wise, it's also a big surprise then, the GLC has the better handling. and also the better suspension, plus the rear axle steering technology. That's making it more likable to drive. And I feel also that the suspension, I mean, both suspensions are rough, but the X3 suspension is definitely rougher and makes you, feel less in contact with the road a little bit if it's getting really, really bumpy. And yeah, that's the thing. So driving-wise, the GLC is the clear winner. Engine-wise, however, when you just accelerate, the 3-liter 6-cylinder, yeah, you can't really beat that, how smooth it is. It's just a gem there under the hood. And that again is better here, especially in the X3 M50 version. Yeah, and so once again, it's a super, super hard pick. I can tell you that just like from the personal pick, like if we would need to switch vehicles now or get in one and drive home, Leah would have picked this one here and I probably would have leaned slightly to this one. But it's really the thing that I would wish this engine in this vehicle or this chassis in this vehicle. You know what I mean? That would be the perfect combination to me, because I have so much fun with this engine. At the same time, I have so much fun with this driving agility. And so it's really a thing of, is seating comfort and the engine characteristic the most important for you, and also like a little bit lower price? Then it's this one. Is technology and driving agility, transfers, the most important thing for you? Then it is this one here for you. Yeah, would like to hear your feedback on that. And I also have to say, since they're both not perfect here, I would actually, that's very interesting, pick this one here as the GLC 450D, because then you have still a great driving agility, but you have the 6-cylinder also in the GLC. And here with the X3, as much as I really love this engine, the normal X3 was better to drive because the suspension was more comfortable, and then I would rather go for a normal BMW X3. And we also had that comparison here recently. You can check it out right now.